Welcome to Nightmare Echoes. Listen, scream, and embrace your horror obsession. I'm your host, Eleazar, and welcome to episode 100, where Joseph joins me to discuss Scream 3, the movie about making a movie that's the sequel to a movie where people are murdered for making the movie. How does the sequel lean into Hollywood satire while still delivering scares? Which new characters shine and who falls short? And does the ending tie together the trilogy's theme? If you dare follow us, all our links are in the description. Friday on the podcast, Scream 4. But until then, a film that proves in Hollywood the scariest thing isn't always Ghostface, it's the rewrites. Hello everybody, welcome to Nightmare Echoes. I'm your host Eleazar. I'm joined again by my co-host Joseph. Joseph, how's it going?
It's going alright. It's just a weird world we're in.
This is true. So today we are covering Scream 3, released in 2000 in February, which is a weird release for a horror movie. But the first one came out on Christmas. And if they made enough money to come out in February, they did, because it had a budget of $40 million and made $161.8 million worldwide. So it's
yeah, they were a known
quantity
quantity at this point.
Exactly. Well, it's crazy that after this one, which made 4 times its budget, that it took 11 more years to make another one. But I think they wanted to wrap this up. They wanted this to feel like a trilogy. They went all out with, let's make this a box in for all 3 movies. Sell it as a box set, which in the commentary, Wes Craven kept saying, go buy the box set. Which
Always selling something, that Wes.
We got David Arquette, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and we get a small appearance back by Jamie Kennedy as Randy. But we've added a lot of new people to the roster here, and we'll go over them as we get to them in the movie.
Sounds good.
The film opens up with Cotton Weary, Liev Schreiber, who was just a small walk-on role. They asked him, just please come on, do a small role in the first movie. He didn't realize that would lead to a bigger part in the second movie. And to come back in the third, in the script, it was written 4 different ways before they actually said, you know what, let's have Liev Schreiber come back in. He's famous now because of the events of the end of part 2. Sidney calls him the real hero, tells the news to talk to him for the real story. And now he has a show called 100% Cotton. The whole cast and crew had joked about during the filming of part 2. They were like, oh my God, wouldn't it be funny if by the next movie, he's so famous and he's got a show, it should totally be called 100% Cotton. The writers were like, that's a great joke. We're not going to not use it.
Is it just like a call-in shock DJ show? Like, what kind of show?
It looked like Ricky Lake to me, which they referenced in the first movie.
Like on the radio, isn't there like a billboard where it's like tuned in?
You see, it's a TV show because you see it when he walks into his apartment, right? You just hear it in a second, because right now we'll get there in a second, right?
Yeah.
So he's in his car. He's talking with his agent, and he's complaining about having a small bit role in the third Stab movie where he just comes in and dies first, which is so funny because a lot of characters here could have been talking about like if they were the actual actor, because this is what has happening to Liev Schreiber in this movie. Cotton Weary is here. He's got a small bit role in the third Scream movie, and he's going to die first.
Stab movie.
Funny.
Right. You mean...
But but I'm saying it mirrors it, right?
Liev Schreiber
has the small bit in Scream 3, where Cotton Weary has a small bit in Stab 3.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Which is funny.
Yeah.
So while he's on the phone with his agent, he gets another call. It's a car phone back in the day when that was the biggest thing in the world. So he puts his agent on hold, hears the voice of who he thinks is a sexy sounding woman who starts flirting with him. So he gets off the call with his agent to talk to this woman, even though he has his girlfriend, beautiful woman named Christine, played by Kelly Rutherford from Melrose Place, at home waiting for him.
Yeah, it's just, But I mean, I don't know how much time has gone by since he was in jail.
At least 2 years.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And you don't really know like how he was as a person prior, but yeah. Still, you have a lady at home, so don't be fucking that shit up. But oh well, or whatever.
Yeah,
there's not much time for him left in this world, anyways.
Right. The gag was originally going to be that Ghostface asked him what his favorite scary movie was, and it was going to turn out to be Christine, which is the name of his girlfriend at home. But that didn't make it into the final cut. Ghostface tells him he's threatening Christine, and if Cotton doesn't tell Ghostface where Neve Campbell's character, Sidney Prescott, is, he's going to kill Christine, and he's watched her now because she's taking a shower. He drives like a bat out of hell, going like crazy. You see in the back of a bus a poster for Stab 2 because that's already out still in theaters while they're filming Stab 3. He drives like a maniac, gets home. We cut to Christine getting out of the shower. Margot liked to joke, every time a woman gets out of the shower in a horror movie, they always have full makeup on. It's just ridiculous. Like,
it's very true.
But it's funny.
Not all the time, but yeah, most of the time.
Right.
I mean, it's a movie, so they're always going to have makeup on, but yeah, it's like
right.
the excessive, like, yeah. Let's go. Like, whoa, you have your mascara on. What?
Cotton tries to call 911, but they're busy.
It's like he's in LA or something. It's a small town in America.
Yeah, right. Christine, as she's putting on her nightgown, here's the radio turn on, and it's Creed's What If.
Oh, God, Creed. Oh, man, it's scary enough, dude.
I know, that's funny. Yeah, so she calls out asking if it's Cotton. She tells him that she's tired of his stab games. So he's got some weird kink where he likes to pretend to be the killer in the stab movies, even though they're based on reality. And his beautiful girlfriend doesn't like to play them, but he doesn't cut it out, at least in her mind.
And he was accused of the crime, and because he was incarcerated for the crime, right?
Yeah, for Sidney's mother, Maureen.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, man. People deal with their shit in weird ways. That's definitely a very weird way.
Then the killer comes up with a knife. She runs away. She slips on the floor because there's water everywhere. She just got out of the shower.
Use a floor mat or a floor towel when she gets out of the shower to dry her damn feet. But yeah, I don't know who does that. I do not know who does that.
Carpet will get it. Yeah,
children do. So they don't have carpet. They have wood floors.
She locks herself in Cotton's office. And then you hear the voice of Cotton apologizing to her, saying, sorry, I just wanted to take the game to the next level. And she's obviously pissed off.
Yeah, that's grounds for breakup right there.
Yeah. Then Cotton gets home, and you see on the TV is his show where he has an episode where he's talking about the maniacs on the road who are driving like crazy, which mirrors the fact that he was just on the road driving like crazy because it was an emergency. He gets in the office, has to use his weight to break down. He had put on a lot of muscle between films. Gets in there, Christine's swinging a golf club at him. She doesn't understand that that wasn't him, even though she heard his voice. How would it not be him?
Exactly.
He tries to warn her that Ghostface is behind her. She gets stabbed. He fights and tries to escape as well. They had a deleted scene where he climbed through a window on the ceiling.
Skylight, yeah.
Yeah. He climbed through a skylight, but the problem was he looked so buff doing it, and Ghostface looked like a wimp doing it, that there was no way we could believe Ghostface would have won this battle.
Yeah, the actor that plays Ghostface here is smaller than Mr. Lee.
Exactly. So they cut that out. He's able to kill Cotton, and as he does it, he looks down, uses the voice modulator. This machine pops out, and he uses Cotton's own voice to say, game over, you lost, something like that.
Yeah, so we didn't have AI there. I don't know how the technology was not that good to do that unless you actually recorded people's... Yeah.
Right. They cut out the scene because they thought of how stupid it was. It was in the script where Ghostface was going to be sitting at a computer editing voice samples. But he would have had to have been in his costume, even though he's alone at home,
because you would know
who was doing it. Yeah. So they thought, well, that would look stupid. Yeah. So they cut it out.
You do it like, I don't know, say like a silhouette of somebody.
Yeah.
Shimmying at a computer, and you just see the shadow, kind of a la the Thing or something like that. So it's like somebody else's shadow doing it, and you don't know exactly who it is, but yeah.
Right. And so you kind of have to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
Yeah.
But
nowadays, I mean, shit, the AI, you can, oh my God, I have some friends that, or how would we call it, bordering mean, where they are just making people say the most horrible shit.
Yeah,
all AI. It's just like, oh my God, deep fakes, man.
Right. So after the title card, we get Sidney, who's living with her dog in isolation where no one can find her. We see that she has an alarm on her fence, as well as her house, and 3 locks on the door. She has a job for the California Women's Crisis Counseling under the fake name Laura, and so she gets to help women who are in danger.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's been pretty much her experience since high school. So yeah.
Right. We cut to Gale, who's speaking at a college to future journalists, basically advising them to be just like her, cutthroats if you have to get ahead. One student stands up to ask a question that puts her in a bad light, so the teacher ends the thing early, saying we're out of time. Thank you, Gail Weathers from Total Entertainment. That student that stood up was David Arquette's brother, Richmond Arquette, who has been in a few movies. Also, the woman to his right that is blonde was a contest winner from Germany who got to be in the movie but have no lines.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was totally Alan Covert from like Grandma's Boy and the other Happy Madison films with Adam Sandler. Yeah, but it's not.
She goes outside to see Detective Mark Kincaid of the LAPD, played by Patrick Dempsey, aka McDreamy from Grey's Anatomy. Love him. Also loved him recently in Thanksgiving, which was a fun slasher. Eli Roth.
Oh, okay. I just gotta say, her hairstyle in this movie is just so distracting to me. My wife came in when I was doing a rewatch right before we recorded, and she was like, "Is that like a, what would you call that? Like a Caesar cut for women? Like what the hell? You know?" Just
maybe
like, no bangs, but yeah, it's just wow.
It was easier on the cast and crew because Neve Campbell started filming another movie with Beth Midler in it, Jamie Lee Curtis in it, and Danny DeVito. Drowning Mona. So because she was filming that, they had to put a wig on Sidney. And then when she switched from filming that to filming A Party of Five, they had to switch how they did her hair, but they had to make it match the whole time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Neve Campbell only gave them 20 days to film her scenes in this film. It's the only way she would come back because she was obligated to so many other things. So that's why she's away in isolation and spends so much less time in this film than the other two.
That makes sense. That answers some questions we'll have down the road, but yeah.
Yeah. Patrick Dempsey tells Gale that he wants to show her some photos, but if it leaks, he's going to arrest her. And she promises on the Pulitzer Prize that she hasn't won yet that she will hold her word. She definitely wants to see these pictures. She's able to identify that that's a photo of Maureen Prescott, which was really convenient that the actress that they got to play Maureen Prescott in the first movie, one, was still available, and two, had been an actress younger, so she had a lot of headshots that they were able to use for this movie.
Yeah, that's lucky.
On the news, we see the reporter Nancy O'Dell talking about Cotton's death. That's the same reporter that had interviewed Tori Spelling for her role in the first Stab movie during the events of Scream 2, which is cool they kept bringing her back.
Sure, yeah.
Sydney turns off the TV because she seems to have more trauma each film and definitely has a lot of trauma in this film.
Sure. And I mean, it seems like her upbringing was not the best with her relationship with her mom. So yeah,
right.
There's childhood trauma right there, plus the murders that have happened around her.
Yeah. Then Red Right Hand plays, which was in every Scream movie except for 4. I'm not sure why they weren't able to get the rights for that movie.
Nick Cave said, no more.
Maybe. He was opposed to a 4th movie after they finished the trilogy.
You said it was a trilogy. You lied to me. No.
Then we see a poster at the Sunrise Studios for Stab 3 Return to Woodsboro. And we see a lot of faces that are supposed to be playing this movie within a movie.
Actors of Stab
3.
Yeah. Sure. Sorry, I forget that it's Stab 3, damn it.
It's directed by Roman Bridger, played by Scott Foley, and he's defending the movie to a bunch of executives. One of those includes Roger Corman, who has more than 500 director and producer credits, including the 1960s Little Shop of Horrors, who sadly passed away last year at the age of 98.
Watched many of his films as a kid. Just little cheap stuff on Showtime and HBO late night.
Also in that lineup is John Milton, played by Lance Hendrickson, who's worked on Pumpkinhead, Hellraiser Hellworld, and alongside Bill Paxton shares the achievement of being killed by a Terminator, an alien, and a predator, which I think is kind of cool.
Damn. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay.
You trying to figure him out? You want me to tell you?
I know he was in Terminator. Obviously, he was in Aliens along with Bill Paxton, and he was in. He was in Predators, the second one.
Predator 2. Bill Paxton was in Predator 2. He was a detective.
Yeah. When was Hendrickson in Predator?
He was in Alien versus Predator, and he was killed by a predator in that.
Okay. I'm not as familiar with those. I know I've saw them, but I haven't gone back and watched them. Like I've seen Predator and Predator 2.
I just remember last year people were posting Bill Paxton, the only person ever been killed by a Terminator, an alien, and a predator, and then a bunch of replies were, "What about Lance Hendrickson?" And so I had to Google, when was Lance Hendrickson killed by a predator?
I saw AVP once and maybe twice, but yeah.
So Roger Corman's going over the violence in media, which is a big deal and is very meta because the movie was written completely different and they had to rewrite it. Kevin Williamson, who had written the first 2, I believe, had a script out, but he was such a popular name at this time, writing for a lot of movies and TV shows, that they couldn't get him in the time frame they wanted. So they got a new writer. And they changed it because in the original movie, they had paid Matthew Lillard to return as Stumacher for Scream 3. He still got to cash his check, even though he never got to be in the movie.
Loss, man, what a loss. I mean,
right?
I think he's fantastic at what he does. And It's just, man, do you have any more information, or you want to talk about that later? Like, what was he supposed to do?
I mean, I think he was supposed to come back as the killer in charge with recruiting a new killer. But I think the script had more to do with a school shooting, because when Columbine happened, they completely reworked the script.
Oh, totally understand that with schools. Yeah.
And so that's where they got the idea. There. Yeah. And that's where they got the idea. Let's set it in Hollywood. These movies are meta. What's more meta than being on the film set at the moment when murders are happening?
Mm-hmm.
So that's when things change.
Gotcha.
I'm going to go over the cast of the movie within a movie, who they're playing, and who the actors that play the cast members in the movie are.
Sounds good.
So it's a lot. We have Tom Prince, played by Matt Kelsler, who is cast as Dewey. Angelina Tyler, played by Emily Mortimer, cast as Sidney. Tyson Fox, played by Dion Richmond, who's cast as a Randy clone named Ricky, who also works at a video store. Sarah Darling, played by Jenny McCartney, Playmate of the Year 1994, and I love her in basketball, who is cast as Candy Brooks. Tyson says that it's probably a fan that's all pissed off that Randy died in Stab 2, which I can't lie, still hurts me to this day. Tom asks if maybe Sidney's the killer, probably hiding in the woods somewhere, living like the Unabomber, because she's so messed up from the past events of her life.
Understandably.
Yeah, exactly.
Completely understandably.
Yeah. Angelina says that she's starting to understand why David Schwimmer and Tori Spelling didn't come back, which lets us know that they stuck around for Stab Part 2.
Okay.
Sarah says that this is about Cotton and we're not in danger. Tyson turns to page 15 on the script and says, Candy says we're not in any danger, which is just funny.
Hold on real quick.
Sure.
So do you think that's another, I just picked up on that with you going over it, but like, yeah. So is that a meta thing about people not wanting to do sequels with Tori Spelling and the other actor not coming back to do Stab 3?
It could be. I mean, if you go back to Jamie Lee Curtis, she did the first 2 Halloween. And then by the time they were ready to continue the story, which we don't count part 3 for that, but they had to kill her off screen. And it's her daughter that we're following in this movie.
Sure. And no one wants to be typecast. And then you have to like sign contracts to do the next 3 adventures movies or whatever. And then all you know is you're just doing adventure movies.
And we barely got Neve Campbell back for the 3rd one. She was like, all right, I'll give you 20 days. You can make it work with 20 days is what you got.
I mean, she was a rising star, so it's like, yeah, you kind of flex your muscles.
Sure. Yeah. Sarah points out that Tyson isn't leaving, and he says that no serious black actor at his age can be just throwing away jobs in Hollywood because it's hard to get a job. Though I like to point out that Joel, the cameraman for the second movie, was maybe the smartest character in the series, who was like, nope, I know that I would die here if I stuck around, which is funny because he told Wes Craven, I don't think my character would be here. Someone just died in my van. There's no way as a black man I would stay here. And Wes Craven asked him, well, how are you going to leave? And he goes, I could use the cab. So he asked the crew, can we get a cab here? And so they got a cab to come pick him up and take him off the scene. And so he doesn't return to the end of the movie. And it was totally his idea.
Oh, okay.
Then we find out that Angelina was the lucky winner of a contest between 50,000 girls to play the new Sidney. Tom, kind of being an asshole, says that she's got to pray that this movie continues because she just luckily got cast. She's never going to get another movie if this one's canceled.
It was just interesting because like you don't know the hierarchy, who of these 3 characters have been in, like, who's the bigger actor in the world of Stab 3. Like, obviously it seems like Emily Mortimer's character is newbie, which I think she was relatively pretty new in America for this film, or am I wrong?
No, you're right, because she did not have a working visa.
That's right.
And they had to fly her to Vancouver to get the paperwork settled after she'd been cast in the movie.
Yeah, because she's British, right?
I guess so.
I think so. I'm pretty sure. I think I read that. So yeah, you don't know that. Whereas you could see totally like the cast of the original Scream, or I Know What You Did Last Summer, anything where it's like younger actors starting out and like, oh, well, I've been in this TV show or something like that, and just kind of being snotty to each other like Tom is. But, yeah.
Well, Tom's at least famous enough, we'll cover it in a little bit, that Gale Weathers has done a story on him.
Yes.
Right.
It was a very flattering story from what I recall in this movie.
Yeah. Then enters Gale. She's wearing a bold outfits like she's always wearing, which is the yellow suit with red blouse and the yellow handbag to match. She's kind of in awe when she sees the set, which is Sidney's house right across from Stu's house. A really great recreation of them. Her colorful bag doubles as a spying device because it has a bunch of holes on the side and a camera inside of it.
Yeah.
This is where we get Jennifer Jolie, played by Parker Posey, who's from Superman Returns, Dazed and Confused, and I loved her in Lost in Space.
And most recently, I saw her in Ari Aster's Beau is Afraid.
Oh, I still haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's a long one. I'd say watch it once for sure. I definitely like the first half. I mean, it's all good, but yeah, I think the first half is definitely the most entertaining parts.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I have the director's cut of Midsummer, which is like 7 minutes short of 3 hours.
Sure. Yeah, this is just the actual theatrical release was like about 3 hours. So yeah, it is long.
That's insane.
I have no idea if there is a director's cut, but holy shit, 6 hours? I don't know.
So Jennifer is wearing the same outfit that Gale wore when we first saw her in the original Scream, this neon yellow suit. We see that she's also, I know, right? It's bright. She's also accompanied by Stephen Stone as a private security guard, who's played by Patrick Warburton, The Tick, Seinfeld, Emperor's New Groove, and I loved him as Flynn in the Skylanders game, which I might have spent over $4,000 on.
I'm unfamiliar with that game. So is it a board game or a video game?
It's a video game. It's if you just imagine Pokemon, but to play the character, you need to own a NFC character, like a figure.
Oh, yeah, right? You say NFC, I'm done.
The first game came out with 32 figures, and then they
had. Oh, wait, this is when you showed me, and it's like on the Wii
on a Portal. Yeah, when it was on everything. Xbox was on, PlayStation was on. They even had a computer version and a tablet version. But yeah, I own hundreds and hundreds of characters and variants and ships and portals and crystals and all these little things. Every time they came out, they've came out with a way to sell you even more pieces of a collection.
I can't do that shit.
And I have a lot of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, she tells Gale that she feels like even though they never met and she never returns her phone calls, which she doesn't mind, she feels like she's in her mind because of all her work playing her in the last 2 films. Gale responds that must explain the constant headaches, and they start flinging insults back at each other. That's when Dewey shows up. He is the one that gave Gale the purse. She claims she's just there working for Kincaid and she's not filming anything, but he knows better. She's shocked that he would be there because pretty much he always wanted to live in Woodsboro and the Hollywood life isn't there for him. He's there in the movie as a technical consultant, but we'll find out later in the movie that his real motivation is to protect Sidney. This is where Tom walks up dressed in the deputy uniform, who starts off by telling Gale how he loves her show. Some piece that she covered he loved, but then he goes on to the story she did on him was where she accused him of faking a crash and maybe drugs and alcohol were involved. And she tries to explain, well, as a journalist, sometimes you got to exaggerate. But then he says, hey, you know what? I should check to make sure no one's cut your brake line. Are you parked in the lot? Which sounds like a threat.
She's basically paparazzi, man. It's just, no, bottom of the barrel.
That's when Milton sees Gale. He orders security to take her off the set, and she's trying to yell that she's working for Detective Kincaid. Outside, we see a tour walking by. The tour guide is the casting director. Everybody besides 2 people actually work for the crew in some way. We get Jay and Silent Bob in a like, what the heck? How does this belong in Scream? Even though I love Jay and Silent Bob, it seems that like, did they jump the shark? I don't know.
It's synergy. They're both released under the Miramax dimension. So so they're kind of all in the same studio. So it's just hyping up because Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back came out the next year. So they're probably filming. Sense. So that's why. Yeah.
Right. But because you're so distracted by the fact that Jay and Silent Bob are on the screen in a Scream movie, you miss that Wes Craven is behind them holding a camcorder, wearing a silly hat, dressed like a tourist.
So yeah, that's assuming you're watching it when we watched it, right? As young coming of age adults, right?
Right.
Back in the early 2000s. I wonder what it's like for people coming up, checking out old horror movies. Because this is like now like over
don't know
almost 25 years old. Yeah. Maybe you don't know. And you're like, oh, you're just like some guys in baggy clothes over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Sure.
How that plays now. I guess they just released. Was it just Dogma that just got re-released on to theaters for like a weekend or something?
Yeah. I know they still came out with movies every once in a while, but I can't remember how many movies they had after
with Jay and Silent Bob or
Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Then they had another one after that, right?
It's been a while. No, I saw Dogma. I think that was like one of the last kind of Kevin Smith movies I've seen.
So we got Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Clerks 2, Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy cartoon movie. Jay and Silent Bob reboot was 2019. Clerks 3 was 2022.
I didn't know they made a third one. Holy shit.
I haven't watched it either yet. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it just came out, I felt like, you know. I just haven't caught up.
I just don't know if that's the style of humor that kids coming up these days are into anymore.
Right. Who's going to want to go see Clerks 3 if they've never heard of 1 or 2?
2, yeah. Oh, that's a dad film, you know?
Right.
I can totally see that. Like, oh, my dad's seeing some movie. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
Sure.
Meta talk.
Yeah. So we get back to Sydney at her house, and she is visited by her dad, Neil, who bought her a bunch of groceries. A lot of people felt like they brought him back to be the killer, since the plot revolved around Maureen Prescott so much, his wife, that they thought, oh, we're showing him here, so we'll reveal he's the killer at the end of the movie.
So he wanted to kill his own daughter?
I don't get it either.
No, that makes absolutely no sense, because he would know where she lives. Like, what the Sorry.
I agree with you. But a lot of people...
My God.
One of the producers who was talking says a lot of people came up to her saying they were certain the moment they saw him that it was going to be the dad.
Like, if it was another target.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Yeah. It doesn't work.
I do not. Yeah.
Then we have a weird scene, which, at least for me, it's a little weird in a horror movie, that this movie is based so much on reality, with a little exceptions maybe, that we see this ghost walking through Sydney's yard up to her window. She puts her bloody hand on the windows. She scares Sydney, who wakes up.
The ghost is her mom.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Wakes her up. She's attacked by Ghostface, wakes up again. And it's because she was traumatized. And I get it. The dream
is it weird? Maybe is this the first time they use like a dream sequence in the franchise?
I think so.
Why? Okay. I mean, it's not really a fake out, because it does a really good. I thought, as far as other movies, like I know when we covered 28 Days Later, we both were stumped when it kind of goes to the Super 8 film and it's his memories. But I was always thinking that it was like he pops in a home video cassette, forgetting that, oh, there's no power out. But yeah, this one they actually cut where it's kind of like somebody walking up, but then it shows her sleeping on the couch, then it goes back. So yeah.
That might just be a personal thing for me. Sure. Weird for me that it's the third movie and we haven't seen anything like it yet, which I feel the same way about. In the extended version of Saw 3, Amanda sees a vision of Adam as a ghost coming at her. It's just weird. Like, why is this ghost of Adam visiting her in a dream? It doesn't seem to fit in the reality, but that could be a me problem.
I can see it. Maybe she wasn't as traumatized after the first film, but once it happened to the second film, that's when the nightmares really started, maybe.
Sure. Okay. I can see that. Yeah. I get it. Sarah Darling pulling up to the studio in her 2000 convertible with the license plate Darling 1, which I thought was so funny. She has an appointment with Roman. She calls him the wrong name when she gets in there. Apparently they say, if you really watch the film and listen for everybody saying names, every character's name is mispronounced at least once in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Which is like, that's a weird thing that I never noticed. The office is mainly empty. The only person that's left is Tyson and the makeup effects guy, who is really in the cast.
Practical effects.
Right. Who has this pair of scissors that looks like it went right through his head.
Yeah.
But they're telling her that Roman's not around. She sees the big giant neon green scream mask or stab mask. And she's like, stab, damn it. I need to get a new agent, which is funny because that could be the actress saying that outside of the movie.
Well, exactly like we mentioned before, like Tori Spelling and other actors have now left the franchise. So now she's kind of picking up the pieces, which is kind of like, oh, so-and-so didn't want to do it because they're moving on to bigger and better things.
Right. She gets into Roman's office. She grabs a trophy and she drops it and the head breaks off. She's like trying to tape it with Scotch tape.
Yeah.
She gets a call from Roman, who wants to go over lines with her. The script he reads isn't the same lines in her script. And she's like, is there another damn rewrite? Which is what Wes Craven said he was saying every day.
That'd be so annoying.
They had a writer locked in a room for 8 hours a day, and they would have a messenger stationed outside the room. When he was ready, he would run some pages up to the people on set, and sometimes they were for scenes they were filming that day.
Was Scream 2 the same way? I feel like Scream 1 was not. I don't know how I never delved into Scream 2 as much.
So Scream 2, the script was finished when they leaked who the killers were. They had to rewrite the script and change the ending to have new killers. Because of
what happens when people spoil shit, man.
Right, I know. Wes Craven's not happy. He talks about it in all the commentaries, like, fucking assholes. You're like, you're costing us time, you're costing us money, and we got to rework a script.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a little bit of that in Scream 2, but not as much as this one. And so there were times where they filmed a scene 3 different times, and they said it was really helpful in the editing room, though, because they got to choose the best one, because since you film a movie out of order, sometimes things are like, you know what, maybe this person wouldn't have acted like this. And so we got this other cut where they're friendlier or something like that.
No, it totally makes sense. I know it's been practice since probably the 70s, at least, probably earlier, where people were afraid of spoilers and people leaking some scene or mistalking, and they just film it out of order, or they film it 3 different ways, so you don't know which one. And only those actors might be involved at that moment of some kind of reveal. So then you would be able to narrow it down to like, all right, it's one of you 3 motherfuckers that leaked this information to whatever press source. You're off the thing and we're going to reshoot it. I don't care. I don't know.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Yeah, I've heard of other instances where the director's script goes missing from his seat and everybody's notified and the security caught the person before they left the building, which is like, wow.
It's so weird because like it takes so much time and money to make a film, even an independent film. It's still a nice chunk of change. I mean, something like this big budget thing, it's just like, are you a fan? Or are you trying to destroy it by spoiling it out early?
It doesn't make sense, right?
It's just like when I was younger, before the prequels came out, I had dreams, talked about it with friends about going to breaking into Skywalker Ranch and shit. But
they made that a movie.
I know they did, yeah. Sure. I had it first. I just didn't have any connections to make a film. But anyways,
sure.
Yeah, I would never have, like, I just wanted to see shit, just first person, and see shit, and then not spoil it. It's just for me and my friends. Yeah. Anyways,
a couple other funny things that happen in this scene. As she's reading the script, she's like, "Why do I have to be naked in the opening? What's the point of me being in the shower?" Which mirrors what happened to the character Christine in the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
She also comments, "Look, I'm Candy. I'm only in 2 scenes. I die second," which mirrors what's going on here. If you count that the first one was a double murder scene as one.
Sure, yeah.
She says the shower thing's been done to death, and she references Vertigo, which is the wrong Alfred Hitchcock movie, which I love.
Yeah, it's the dumb blonde trope there.
Then Ghostface shows up, chases her through this area with a bunch of props. She keeps trying to grab things that look like weapons, but they're all fake swords, fake knives, and she can't survive. Immediately. So she's killed, unfortunately.
And it's kind of, I don't know if it's on purpose. I don't know if when you listen to the commentary, but yeah, it just reminds me of Tatum's death when she's crawling through the doggy door in the first one.
It does a little bit, yeah.
And like they're both hanging over something and they die. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know either. They said that there was a lot of things in this movie that they were trying to bring back to the original, so maybe.
Gotcha. Okay.
We have a small scene. Dewey and Gale are having coffee where he explains that someone called demanding to know where Sidney was, claiming to be the police. And then a month later, they broke in to steal her file, but Dewey had already removed it to her location. And then he gets a page from Jennifer, who needs him. So Gale's not happy when he runs off to go to Jennifer's house.
Sure. Jealous.
So inside the house, Jennifer's freaking out. She's smoking a cigarette, and she's there with Steven. They are saying that the murders are happening in the same order they're happening in the script. And she hands Gale the script to show her that she dies next. And Gale's pissed off that she would die in a movie. She's following Dewey outside, who's going to his trailer. And we find out that he lives on the same grounds as Jennifer's house. Mm-hmm. We also get this cute scene where Jennifer jumps up into Steven's arms. It's like, hold me. Apparently, a bunch of crew just wanted to watch Parker Posey perform because she was ad-libbing everything, and it was all comical. At one time, she's read me a bedtime story, and she just like had all these alternate takes. And they let her just keep taking takes to see what the funniest one was.
So they had like what? Like she was supposed to say something along certain lines, but they just let her ad-lib and say something. Oh, okay.
And so I don't think that Steven here saw it coming that she was going to leap into his arms. Like he just had to grab her.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's Parker Posey. Like you don't want to drop her. I mean, shit.
Yeah, exactly. Gale finds out that Dewey's there to protect Jennifer. She doesn't understand why a woman would feel safe around Dewey. And every movie, he has a really great, long, well-rehearsed line that I swear he's been waiting for Gale to ask this question. And he says, I'll do my best. If you weren't so concerned with pretensions and appearances, you'll be able to appreciate the positivity and emotional centeredness I provide a woman, which I love.
Try hard.
Yeah. As they leave, Dewey tries to tell Steven, like, hey, don't forget to do a walk around the perimeter. He finds out that Steven has no respect for Dewey, basically calls him has-been, says that his resume reads like the obituaries, and he has protected a lot of famous people. So maybe Dewey should listen to him.
Yeah, Julia Roberts. I forgot how everybody else he names, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. We cut to Detective Wallace, who's looking at the 2 photos of Maureen Prescott now, because there have been 2 crime scenes, and he jumps to 10 more and we could publish a calendar, which my kid was like, that's a large leap. Like 2 to 12? Detective Kincaid says he likes to play with the cops, which is kind of like Hannibal Lecter and Seven, which worries Wallace because in those movies, the killer goes after the cops, but he's like, yeah, one always survives.
It's so weird. Like, yeah, Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs, the original one, that was early 90s, but Seven was just like a few years before this film, right?
Had to be, yeah.
95, so I guess it was a little bit further out than 2000.
Gale shows up. Wallace is annoyed that she's there, but Kincaid says that she's working with him. Dewey mentions that they might want to increase the presence around Jennifer since she dies next in the script, and Kincaid's confused because he says there's 3 versions of the script that are out there, and we don't know which one the killer has.
And so this assumes that I guess all 3 of them had the same first 2 deaths in them?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Back at the lot, Roman is complaining that he's next because the headless trophy is a message, and I laugh every time. Even with the ending, I still think it's funny. He sells it really well.
I mean, he has to. He has ulterior motives.
Detectives then show up to bring him in for questioning because Sarah's roommate reported that she had a meeting with him, and Sarah's roommate actually answered the phone first and handed the phone over to Sarah and actually heard his voice on the phone.
Gotcha.
This mirrors the first movie when the police arrest Billy and then eventually let him go. After Wallace takes him away, we have this weird scene where Kincaid says his cell phone battery ran out, and so he asks if he could borrow Dewey's. And then Jennifer says, Roman, remind me never to sleep with him again.
Yeah, it's weird. I guess this is, just I don't know if it was just with everybody trying to get spoilers for the film, that they just had all these little scenes, or I don't know. Because it just, we'll get to it why, but okay, he has this phone, and his phone would have all his contacts in it. And
I think they were trying to make number. Yeah, I think they're trying to make him a red herring.
Okay.
Because there are more scenes later
where
Sidney is supposed to believe that it's him. I was never sold on the fact that it was Kincaid. Well, I don't think. I mean, it's been a long time since I watched it the first time.
When I first watched it, we can talk about it later, but I'll explain like why I thought it was him when we get to it. But yeah.
Okay, so the very next scene, right after this phone thing happens, Sidney gets a phone call on the crisis hotline, but it's actually her home line, which the voice in the middle of the person pretending to be in crisis changes to Maureen Prescott's voice, which I was like, hold up, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. If he's getting samples of people, how did he do this one? I know later on the film, we find out that she was an actress, so maybe he used samples from that movie since he's part of Hollywood. Okay, I had to make it make sense for myself, so I had to think that through.
Yeah, I mean, just like to go through, I mean, editing a podcast takes a long time without AI. They would not have had AI back then to edit all these conversational phrases that they somehow, this voice modulator thing can do. It's just crazy that they could, I just watched it record a couple of things and it's like AI basically back in 2000.
Yeah, exactly. Then the voice changes to Ghostface, and unlike Part 1 and 2, Ghostface does not say hello, Sidney. Just wanted to
hello, Sidney.
Yeah. Says it again in Part 4, but does not say it in Part 3. She goes to lock the door,
which is totally out of character. I thought, like she's locking. She has a gate. She has like multiple locks. Like I just was like, I assume maybe she was just double checking herself, and she unlocks it and then relocks it. But yeah.
Then we get to the wrap party at Jennifer's house because the movie has been canceled. Steven is patrolling inside her Tom, Jennifer, Angelina, and Dewey. Tom is ripping apart the script. It's scaring Angelina. She asks him to stop, but when he does it, she walks out the door. Tom tells Jennifer that he bet Angelina stepped on any girl that got in her way for this role. And Jennifer goes, "Oh, so you asked her out?" And she said no. And he goes, "That has nothing to do with it." Which is a scene they filmed, but they didn't use.
Okay.
Gale arrives wearing a turtleneck and with red leather pants.
So out of place and weird looking.
Yeah.
On top of her freaking haircut. Yeah.
She just always has the craziest outfits. That's what I always want to mention.
Yeah.
She starts to spy on Dewey and Jennifer and is caught by Steven. Dewey's looking at headshots of Jennifer. Steven walks in with Gale. Angelina comes back inside. Gale tells Dewey that Roman was released because the calls came from a clone cell, which is untraceable. Dewey tries to send Gale away, but she tells him that in her research, in Maureen's past, there was 2 years unaccounted for where no one claims to have seen her, and there's no record of her even existing. She asks why these specific pictures, and then Dewey looks at the picture and says Jennifer, which confuses Gale. He runs to the headshot of Jennifer earlier and compares the two, and the background is an exact match, like the headshot of Maureen Prescott was taken at the same place as Jennifer to the exact angle, an inch. It kind of makes the background look faked and photoshopped.
Yeah.
But either way, it's just show us, hey, these were taken at the same places. It's just 30 years apart.
Yeah, on a set somewhere.
Right. Outside, Steven gets a call from Dewey while searching Dewey's trailer. It bothered me a little bit that Steven steals Dewey's loose change on the table. I'm like, really, dude?
No, I don't think there's any love lost there. So yeah, they don't like each other.
And then while he's on the phone, Dewey's asking him, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm in here making sure there's no killer here to shank you like they did your little sister." Dewey gets upset, like, "What did you say to me?" Before it turns into Ghostface, comes out to try to kill Steven. He's not a small guy. They have a big battle, but he's able to use like a cast iron skillet to knock Steven out, stabs him in the back. Dewey and Gale come out of the room and they notice that no one is there. A door blows open. He pulls out a snub-nosed Colt Python 6-shooter. Jennifer, Angelina, and Tom all walk in turn, and he points the gun at all of them, scaring them.
I mean, like, when he first pulls out that gun, like, it's just inches away from Gale's ear, her left ear. And I'm like, if he had fired that, whoo, tinnitus at the very least. Yeah, deafness probably. Like, oh my God.
So they're all scared. He puts down the gun. Steven stumbles in the view of the door outside. He's pointing at the phone like, "Dewey, you were talking to me on the phone," but no one understands what he's trying to mumble. He falls over and dies right in front of them.
Yep.
They run back inside, but then the power goes out. The phone rings, and in a comedic sketch, they all check their phones like, "Not mine, not mine, not mine," which makes it feels like cell phones were still a new thing in the world.
Oh, and everybody's ringtone was like, phones maybe had 3 different ringtones, and everybody would have the same default ringtone. So it was like, I remember those days when like everybody looks at the same time. It's such a nice little joke to take back from back in the day. But yeah.
So then they realize that it's the fax machine, which is still working without power.
I didn't notice that. Maybe she had like a backup surge protector on that thing.
Just for the fax machine, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those things, I don't know. I never had one because I assumed they were expensive. So I have no idea how much they were back then. But yeah.
Exactly. So what's coming out is rewrites to a script. And Jennifer wants to read it. Gale and Dewey think they should go outside. Jennifer's like, if we go outside, we can get picked off one by one. Eventually, they do run all outside. But Tom goes in there, has to read, uses a lighter to read out loud. And what it's written is, "The killer will spare whoever smells the gas." That's when he explodes.
The whole house explodes.
The whole house explodes. They built a miniature that was a fourth of the scale. So still pretty big.
No, that was a real house. Tom really died.
Stop it. No, it was, the house was owned by the director who did Flight of the Navigator.
That's right.
Yeah. And a lot of other movies. Anyway, in this scene, we see Dewey, Gale, and Jennifer all thrown down the hill, but Angelina is nowhere in sight. We had actually seen her let go of the group and kind of disappear before the house exploded.
Oh, she just doesn't jump off the... I thought she jumped off too.
We don't see her.
Oh, okay.
She
Okay.
lets go of the group and breaks away.
Okay. I just like it as Parker Posey's line while she's going down the hill is, "I can't stop rolling down the hill." It's just like, who sucks when they're rolling down a hill like that?
It's awesome.
It's just a nice comedic moment there.
Yeah, exactly. Dewey calls out and hears both Jennifer and Gale, but chooses to go after Gale. Gale's standing next to a 1998 Ford Explorer, which Ghostface is hiding behind and attacks. Dewey takes aim and fires at Ghostface, hitting in the chest and sending Ghostface to the ground. Dewey runs to Gale and Ghostface is nowhere to be found. Dewey's theme starts playing again because he's a hero. It's always like this Western cowboy kind of theme. I love it. Jennifer arrives. She's pissed. She's like, hey, who gave you a house? Who gave you a place to stay? Who are you supposed to be protecting? And she punches Dewey. So then Gale punches Jennifer, sending her to the ground. Jennifer's like, my lawyer loved that. And Gale's like, not as much as I did. Then Angelina comes from far away. Dewey's like, how'd you end up way over there? She's really frantic that Tom died. She then asks if they're safe, and Dewey asks with suspicion, safe from who? But that's when they notice the photos left in the ground. It's another one of Maureen Prescott, and on the back of this one, it reads, I killed her. We cut to Detective Kincaid in his office going over the evidence, saying that whoever left this photo is now taking credit for the murder of Maureen Prescott. Mm-hmm. Gale points out that we know that it was Billy and Stu because they told Sidney, but Detective Kincaid says that Gale's own account says that Sidney had fingered the wrong person for Maureen's death the first time, so how do we know she's not wrong again? There's a comical scene. Kincaid is asking Dewey for the contact information of Sidney. He says he won't give it. Wallace comes in to ask Dewey what his problem is, and Kincaid asks if he would want to have this conversation in front of a polygraph. And I love the way this plays out. Dewey asks, is that a threat? And Kincaid replies, when it's a threat, you'll know it is. And Dewey asks, is that a threat? Which makes me laugh every time. Yeah. Gale jumps in, trying to stop them, but Kincaid says that Dewey is going to obstruct justice or put him in touch with Sidney.
So, yeah, polygraphs are inadmissible, but yeah, I still would never do one. Not that I'm going to do any crimes that would necessitate me to be threatened with a polygraph. Have you ever done a polygraph?
Yeah, I've done a polygraph.
How many times have you been arrested?
I'm not going to tell you why, but I was not arrested. I was asked to do one, and I passed. They had one question about one little squiggle, but I explained it, and they were satisfied with the answer. And I even got an apology from the ADA and the police on bothering me.
Jesus. Okay. All right.
All right. We cut to Dewey calling Sidney, trying to warn her. And in that moment, 50 minutes into the movie, Sidney walks in the door and joins the rest of the cast. They hug. Sidney is still wearing her fraternity necklace that Derek gave her at college. She explained that the killer called her, which means she isn't safe anywhere, and at least now she won't be alone. He brings her to Kincaid's office, and Gale and her hug. It's a little awkward. Dewey tells Kincaid that the killer called Sidney. Kincaid theorizes that the killer could have monitored everyone's calls, asking Dewey if he called from the set, which Dewey says he didn't. Gale asks Dewey if her number is stored in his memory, and he looks up to the left like, let me see if I can remember it. And she's like, no, your phone memory. He says it is. They ask who had it, and he points out that Kincaid had it and Jennifer had access to it. But I would like to point out, if Jennifer had access to it, then anybody in that house could have taken that phone.
Sure.
And that's important for my belief in the movie later.
Okay.
Sidney notices the pictures of her mother, and Kincaid explains that the killer is leaving all these photos. She tells him that she wants to see the set or where these are all taken. We cut to them all at Sunrise Studios, arriving in 2 different vehicles. Wallace accuses Kincaid of leaving so he can get Sidney flowers and candy. And so I guess if I was to think why people might think that Kincaid was suspicious, the fact that he's leaving when Sidney's there and he's supposed to be protecting Sidney doesn't make sense. Then we get the introduction of Martha Meeks, played by Heather Matarazzo. I'm sure I said that wrong. I know Heather. I know her from Princess Diaries. She's also in The Devil's Advocate and Hostel Part 2.
Okay.
Wallace, along with 2 other officers, run up, and Martha yells, "Don't shoot, I'm only 17.
I don't think that stopped too many people being shot by saying your age, but
Yeah.
I don't know how many shootings there were like that of underage people without a weapon.
What now? Then this joke, I don't think lands well.
Not anymore.
Yeah, but I mean the next one. Gale tells Sidney, if that's Dewey's ex, I'm going to shoot myself. But she just said, I'm 17. Dewey was 25 when they were all 18 in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is Dewey's 28 by now, she's 17. There's no reality where it ever been okay for her to be his ex.
Yeah.
Like, it's 11-year difference at least.
No, I'm trying to think of like the states' ages of consent and how young some of the ones are.
Yeah.
The world is gross and full of sick men. So yeah.
So Martha says, I have something to show you, and is holding a tape in her hand. So they go inside and she plays the VHS tape, and it's Randy. He recorded at Windsor College during the events of Scream 2. He says, I know that if you're watching this, it means I didn't survive college. And I now understand that it was probably not a good idea to give up my virginity to Karen Kolchak at the video store. Dewey asks out loud, Karen Kolchak? And Randy says, yes, as if he knew what his response was going to be. And then Dewey says, creepy Karen? And Randy says, shut up. She's a sweet person, okay? And then he explains how they hooked up.
Organizing in the porno section.
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah. Randy's roommate, Paul, keeps banging on the door, demanding to be let in, but he says that he needs 15 minutes to leave his legacy. He says that he's there to help them so that his death will not be in vain, and he hopes that he can help save their lives. He says that if the killers come back and he's for real, they have to ask themselves if it's just another sequel, because if it is, the same rules apply. But if you're dealing with an unexpected backstory, a preponderance of exposition, then the sequel rules do not apply, because you're not dealing with a sequel. You are dealing with a concluding chapter of a trilogy, which he says are rare in the horror community, but they do exist. He says they're a force to be reckoned with, but true trilogies are going back to the beginning and discovering something that wasn't true from the get-go. He says The Godfather and Jedi all revealed something that weren't true in the beginning. And he says you've got a killer who's going to be superhuman, stabbing him won't work, shooting him won't work. Basically, in the third one, you got to cryogenically freeze his head, decapitate it, or blow him up. Anyone, including the main character, can die. It's the final chapter. It could be Reservoir Dogs by the time this is through.
R.I.P. Michael Madsen.
I know, he just died.
Yeah.
And then he says, whatever you think you know about the past, forget it. The past is not at rest. Any sins you think were committed are about to break out and destroy you. So in closing, let me just say good luck, Godspeed. And for some of you, I'll be seeing you soon. Because the rules say that some of you ain't going to make it. I didn't. Not if you're watching this tape.
The scene, it takes me out of the movie, but I get it. Overall, it's the satirical bits and everything, the meta, and yeah. She just shows up and she knows to just happen to be there. And how did she get access to a Hollywood set and just so many things? It just does not make sense when you think about it. But you just roll with it. It's fine. It's the satire. So I get it. But yeah.
For me, I love it because I was so sad when Randy died.
Yeah. I mean, when Randy dies, because he was a great character.
Yeah. Outside Sid and Dewey hug Martha. Martha tells Dewey not to be a stranger. Gale tells him she's got an idea and she decides to go off on her own, which is so ridiculous. Characters keep splitting up.
Yep.
So she goes to studio archives and she can't get in. Jennifer shows up. She has access to it, but she logics out that if the killer is trying to kill her, it's because the killer really wants to kill the real Gale. So if she's standing next to the real Gale, when the killer comes to kill her, the killer will go, oh, wait, I could kill the real Gale. I get it. Gale doesn't seem to follow along. Jennifer says, I play you smarter than you really are, which I think is awesome. So they go down to the basement and they see a woman that works there. Gale's talking so much about the photo of Maureen, it takes her a minute to realize she's talking to Carrie Fisher. Though the woman claims she is not Carrie Fisher, she is an actress named Bianca Brunette. She says she was up for the part of Princess Leia, but the girl that got it was the one that slept with George Lucas, which really fits with the kind of theme of this movie.
Yeah, and the behind the scenes we learn out later on.
Sure.
Much later on.
So also, Carrie Fisher got to write her own lines, which was part of her agreeing to do this. She loved the idea of making fun of herself.
Yeah.
And Wes Craven's like, Wes Craven's like, you're doing pretty darn good if you have Carrie Fisher writing lines for your movie.
Sure.
Bianca says she doesn't work for the cops, and Gale pulls out a 50 asking if she works for the president. And she replies, she pushes it away, saying, yeah, the president of the studio. Jennifer's like, really? What do you work for Woodsboro High? She's like, which apparently was a line written by Parker Posey.
Okay.
And she pulls out a ring worth $2,000, puts it down the desk, and asks if you're going to help Gale or not. We cut to them going through files. Apparently, Bianca's wearing the ring, which Carrie Fisher didn't think she would do, but Wes is like, please just wear the ring. She pulls out a file saying that if they're looking for Maureen Prescott, they're never going to find her, but if they look under Rena Reynolds, they will. Jennifer makes a joke about stage names, and Bianca says, you should talk, Judy Jorgenstern. And so she's annoyed. But then Gale reads that the movies she was in were Amazombies, Space Psycho, and Creature from the San Andreas Fault.
Okay, all right. Just a quick aside. What do you think Amazombies? Like, how do you think what the plot of that film was?
You got a bunch of babes in...
And just little, like, glass bowls over their head with space guns?
In Amazombies?
Oh, no, I guess, yeah, never mind. Sorry.
No, I think they're like...
Space Psycho.
Where maybe they're like... wearing bathing suits, maybe
with like a bite, and they're a little bit pale and discolored in their skin.
But they're probably really well endowed.
And in space, it's a spaceship instead,
right? You got sonic showers, so there's no water. You save money, actually.
Well, you don't want water going in the mist and the steam get into the electronic. What about what was the other one? Creatures from the San Andreas Faults.
It's gonna be like a Godzilla ripoff. But instead, it's going to be crabs.
Giant crabs coming out of the
exactly
cake. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I think there's an actual movie called Cocaine Crabs from Outer Space, which you should not watch.
I mean, I guess Cocaine Bear did decently in the theaters recently. So
because of that, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Bianca tells them that they're all old horror movies that Milton made back in his heyday, and they all get shocked when they hear Milton's name. We cut to Dewey waiting outside while Sidney uses the restroom.
Yep.
And she knows that someone's in there, and she finds Angelina holding a ghost face mask. She's wearing the same boots that Ghostface always wears in these movies. And she claimed that she will never win a role like this, and she was just trying to take movie souvenirs. Angelina is really honored to play Sidney, and she said she wanted to honor her with this role. She leaves, and she left her brush because she dropped all the contents of her purse.
But who would want that brush after it's been fallen onto a floor in a public bathroom?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm coming through from the standpoint of a men's restroom, because those are just dudes can't aim. There's probably many.
Also, they never wash their dang hands, man.
Some don't.
I'm in the hospital all the time, and you watch freaking staff that do not wash their hands. I can't. No, that's not okay.
No.
Anyways,
it's how germs spread, children.
Yeah. So she follows her into the set. Doesn't realize it at first, but she's walking out of the recreation of Stumacher's house.
Mm-hmm.
Sees her house right across from it. Goes into her bedroom, starting to remember when Billy snuck in, hearing the voices play back. There's posters on the wall.
It's a Creed poster.
Yeah, they were paid a lot of money to put Creed in this movie.
I think it was just the record deal, the record company putting out the soundtrack. So they're just like, hey, Creed is really hot right now. Let's just force it down people's throats.
Yeah, and then that Scream 3 soundtrack sold 500,000 copies. It made gold. I remember I used to buy a lot of soundtracks in the 90s.
Because back then, there were songs that would not be on any of the artist albums, and so you had to buy this because you couldn't just go and download your favorite MP3s off of Apple or wherever. You had to buy the whole thing. I remember The Crow had a lot of one-offs and stuff.
There was a Batman movie that had the Smashing Pumpkins song "The End Is the Beginning Is the End" as one of my favorite Smashing Pumpkins songs, and that's the only way you can get it at the time was on that Batman soundtrack.
Yep. Yeah, Lost Highway, Natural Born Killers.
I was going to say Lost Highway.
Yeah,
that's
man.
A good one.
Yeah. Think we should do that one? Would you consider that horror?
I mean, I think you can make it work.
I think so. There's a lot of weird shit going on in pretty much any of that dude's films, and he just passed. I've been kind of wanting to watch a lot of his old films.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Sure. She's in her room. She thinks she hears somebody. The door closes on her. She backs up towards the window. There's Ghostface at the window. Grabs pulls her out. So if there was somebody on the other side of that door, one, either Ghostface is supernatural, like Randy said, or there's two Ghostface. Whether or not the movie tells you there's two in the end, there were definitely two in the script for a long time. I'll point out later who I think it was. She gets pulled out by Ghostface, rolls off the roof onto the ground. Their fall is broken by food serving table for the cast. She fights back.
Yeah.
She runs into the recreation of her childhood home, locks the door, and behind her in the closet where Ghostface came out of in the original movie, the recreation of it, a Ghostface pops out. So again, two Ghostfaces had to be present for the scene to work. She tries to go back out the door, but the same thing that happened in the first movie, Ghostface stabs the door. She runs up the stairs again. She finds a door that doesn't lead into a room and actually falls down into her room on the lower floor.
Mm-hmm.
So she tricks Ghostface into falling. Unfortunately, falls on the bed. So Ghostface is safe. She starts screaming for Dewey like crazy. Dewey comes in. So does Wallace. She's screaming that he's in there. He's in there. There, I missed a little bit there where she goes into the recreation of her mother's murder scene.
In that scene, you hear Angelina's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you hear Maureen's voice, like really like, yeah, that's where
exactly
this part like makes me think like, okay, is she just kind of just dealing with some trauma right here? And so she's like auditory hallucinations or what? But anyways, keep going.
Then the killer puts the sheet over himself, pretending to be Maureen Prescott, and speaks to her as if Maureen was speaking to her from beyond the grave.
Yeah, like a crime scene blanket thing to kind of hide the gruesome corpse. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And still on the set, but outside of either houses. She's telling Dewey that she's in there. I saw her in there. Wallace goes up and says there's no one in here. Then also shows up Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I kind of went over
Angelina's with them as well.
Yeah, we see Wallace interviewing both Angelina and Tyson. Angelina telling them that she stole the mask before changing her story to, well, I took it. Like the movie's canceled. I took it.
Yeah.
They look at Tyson and Tyson goes, don't look at me. I didn't take anything, which is a smart way to go. I didn't steal anything.
Especially person of color. Like it was always been a, it's always going to be put more on you than, yeah.
Sidney tells Kincaid that she isn't crazy and the killer was there in Woodsboro, pointing at the set. Kincaid tells her that's not Woodsboro, which kind of makes it sound like he thinks she's a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But he tells her, we'll put you in a safe house, whatever we need to do, we'll keep you safe. But then again, he separates himself from her.
And Sidney, like when he says that comment, like this isn't Woodsboro, she's like, you can see it in her face. She's like, you know what I mean? Stop being a smart ass.
Gale and Jennifer run up to Dewey sounding like a team and reporting what they found about Milton. So we cut to Milton's office where Roman is complaining that not only did they kill the film, they killed his cast, adding that Variety called him a pariah, and he doesn't even know what a pariah is. Milton tells him there'll be other movies, and this is just going to add to his mystique. And he's like, you think I'm going to get parched from this?
I mean, hasn't really hurt Polanski's mystique. So, yeah.
That's when Dewey, Gale, and Jennifer walk in, saying they want to talk about Rena Reynolds. Roman says he doesn't know who that is, and Milton asks Roman to go to his house and just not let anybody cut the cake without him. This makes Jennifer remember that it's Roman's birthday, tell him happy birthday, which he takes as bad news since he's getting older and he hasn't made his first movie yet.
I'm 30. Does he say that? Like, I'm 30 and I don't have 30. A film.
Right. After he leaves, Milton tries to fake that he never knew it was Sidney Prescott's mother, but eventually admits to it, saying that he knew when he was making the first Stab movie. Milton says it's in the past, it's buried and let it go, but Gale threatens to have it brought up on national TV. So he starts to share. He says it was the 70s, it was a different world. He was known for his parties, and Rita knew what those parties were for, which were for girls to meet men that could make them parts if they gave them the right impression, basically implying have sex with them.
Sexual favors of some sort for sure. But yeah, and it's funny. It was the 70s. That stopped happening in the 90s, okay?
So he claims she knew what she was getting into, and maybe things got a little out of hand and people took advantage of her. He adds that Hollywood isn't for innocents and that Rena Reynolds wouldn't play by the rules, and it ended bad for her. She had to go home.
Yeah.
Small detail. Yeah.
But
right. Yeah. Small details from the set. You can see the posters for Stab 1 and 2. I like the Stab 2's poster says, even true stories have sequels. There's a tanning bed in the background and a diving board behind him outside the window. Like if at some point Milton's like, you could either do what I say or you can jump off the diving board.
I
Like,
guess,
what would it be there for? I mean, you would die. I mean, I know there's water out there, but I don't think it's close enough that you wouldn't die if you jumped off that diving board.
I know. I wouldn't jump off it, period. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
what the heck? But apparently Wes Craven,
to make that jump.
Wes Craven as a joke was like, we need a diving board there. And they did it. He didn't think they were going to do it, but they did it. He's like, great. Also, there's a android or a robot in the back. And people asked if that was a reference to Lance Henriksen being in Aliens. But he said, no, it was just a happy coincidence. But I think it's a pretty cool coincidence.
He'll always be Bishop to me, man.
So Sidney's in Kincaid's office asking what he knows about trilogies. He says that the only thing he knows about trilogies is all bets are off. She asks if he's requested the case because it seems like she's starting to suspect him more. He says that he's always given the Hollywood cases because he grew up here and he knows how to work with the people. But to him, Hollywood means death because he's a homicide detective. He tells her he thinks she understands because he knows what it is to see ghosts that don't go away. She says ghosts are tough because you can't shoot them. And he adds you can't arrest them either. He tells her that he's going to the set because he believes her, which is good news because it means that they are regular flesh and blood. And he knows how to handle that. Sidney asks how. He says he's either going to catch him or kill him. Sidney asks what's his favorite scary movie. And he says his life. Dewey's driving with Gale and Jennifer. They plan on going to Kincaid and Sidney to tell them what they found, but they interrupted from a call who they think is Sidney, telling them she's going to the party at Milton's house, which is for Roman, because Milton says he has something to tell her about her mom. Dewey tries to tell her that it isn't a good idea, but she says it's okay because she has Kincaid with her and they should meet her there, and she just hangs up before they say anything more. When they arrive, Roman's there. They say they're there to see Sidney, and he points to Angelina, thinking like, oh, this is who you mean. This is Sidney.
Yeah.
Then Jennifer comes up. She's like, no, Sidney, like how I'm Gale, she's Gale. Is like, Sidney Prescott? Why would she be here?
Doesn't make sense when you think about it. Like, what?
Right.
Yeah.
And so he goes on talking about how amazing this house is. And there's this apparently a secret screening room that's hidden somewhere in the house where crazy parties were happening. Angelina herself says, oh, I would love to have seen it. And he says, it can't be that hard to find. It's a house. We got to be able to find it.
Parties for who, though? You know?
Yeah.
Who was having fun there? Ugh.
So they want to go start wandering. Tyson jumps up saying there's a killer on the loose and the group should stay together, adding that every time Dewey enters a room, he becomes a shish kebab, which is true for the first two movies.
Yep. Yeah. Tyson is not a dumb person. He is a very smart character.
Right.
But yeah.
Jennifer tells Roman that he will go with her, and Angelina says she will too, telling Tyson he should come. Dewey and Gale say they'll wait for Sid, and Roman yells, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, we see that Roman and Jennifer have split off from Angelina and Tyson, and Roman leads Jennifer to a basement, which is full of creepy movie props.
I think they're cool. I don't think they're creepy at all. But...
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. It's just because there's a killer around.
They're like stuff from sci-fi movies and old horror movies, but yeah, I guess you can call them creepy to describe them.
Yeah. They start flinging insults at each other about their past relationship.
Yeah, which I mean, it's not a sleep to get a roll type relationship. It was actually like they were an item, right? That's the way I took it.
That's the way I took it too. I think that's the only instance of that in reference to a lot of these that are going on.
Yeah.
I think that was an actual couple.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Since Sid doesn't show up, Gale and Dewey call the last number that called them, and they find in the closet a cell phone ringing with the voice modulator.
And I just want to point out, they walked in a different door and they left that door wide open. And then the doorway into the next room. And then they're at another door. I think it goes out to the same driveway because it's a mansion. So you have two doors going out to the same place. Right. But yeah, they leave it open again. Like when there is a killer on the loose. I'm just like, wait, it makes sense the first time because I believe, well, you'll find out. But yeah, Roman is kind of letting him in. So of course he would let them leave the doors open.
So they figure out that the voice modulator has their voices on it. And they realize this is how people are talking and tricking everybody to thinking that other people are speaking.
Yeah.
So they run off to go find people. Again, they split up. And I think that they said in the commentary that we needed them to keep splitting up so we could suspect everybody.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like Dewey and Gale would have split up at this point. Like they're real characters.
I mean, they stay together for most of this part until they get separated later. They didn't decide to split up,
Okay. Well, Dewey finds Tyson on his own, who was led into a bedroom with a bunch of mirrors on one wall. He said he went in there with Angelina, who was following her, but when he got there, she had disappeared. Gale goes into the basement where she finds Roman with a knife in his chest and takes his pulse on his wrist to determine he's dead.
Yeah, because last we saw, Roman went down there by himself with Jennifer up on the stairs.
Right.
And that was the last time we saw that. And you heard some stuff going on down there. And then you don't know what Jennifer does. And it kind of cuts to the next scene with Dewey and Gale making that phone call and learning about the voice.
Right. So Gale backs up into Jennifer, who was hiding there. She screams, "Is he dead?" And Gale says yes. And they run back upstairs.
So, yeah, you want to break down the scene? Like, how does this, why? Do you want to talk about it later on? Like, I don't know.
We can do that now. So Wes Craven says that he believes there's a way to put like a tennis ball. I've heard this before. You put a tennis ball on your armpit and you pinch it down. You're pinching the nerve that would produce the blood pressure to your arm. So if you're doing that only for a small amount of time, then it's going to make it like you don't have a pulse.
Yeah, like your arm goes to sleep or whatever.
Right.
Basically.
But also Roman has access to movie magic. So maybe he had a fake arm there and would hope that she took the pulse on his arm and not his neck. Or the whole body could have been a dummy.
But why do it at all?
To throw off the scent that he's the killer?
Did anyone have that scent though? At this point,
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyone does. So it's like, that's why this scene kind of just like throws me for a loop. Like every time I'm like, no one was suspecting him.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess only the cops were, when they take him in, but then they let him out. So that's like dissolves him of, suspicion normally.
Right.
But yeah, I just like, it seems like a lot to do it just seems like a lot.
Maybe.
But anyways, that's my take anyways.
Hold on. Maybe because in a little bit talks about how he's gonna pin it all on Sidney.
Sure.
Maybe the cops will think that he died earlier, even if his body disappears, because Gale, who would have lived, would have said that she found Roman's body. So even if they can't find his body, there's an eyewitness testimony that she saw him dead, and so that he might be able to escape, start a new life, and everybody thinks that he was just another victim of Ghostface.
But yeah, escape to do what? He's never done a movie. Like it's just again more like questions because like I don't know. I mean, there's been a couple of times where in the recent past where a boyfriend or a husband kills his wife and then runs into hiding, and I'm like, what do you expect to happen?
Yeah,
like you're gonna get found, or you're gonna die out in the wilderness, or you're gonna swallow your own damn fucking bullet. But like I don't know. It's just such a I don't know. Anyways, this is where it's just so hard for me to wrap my head around the motivations and the motives for this, but we'll get into that later. So
sure. All right. So Gale and Jennifer run up past Angelina, who pops out of a wall painting like it's a Scooby-Doo film.
Yeah.
Which they reference a lot. A lot of people said the script read very Scooby-Doo.
And she's excited because she's like, guys, you gotta check this out. It's a secret passage. Yeah.
Right, exactly. They tell her that Roman is dead. She says she's leaving. She's done with this. And she says, I did not fuck that pig Milton to get a leading role just to die here.
Yeah.
So that reveals how she won that contest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dewey calls out for them, but that's when Ghostface stabs Angelina. We don't see it. They run back to go look at her. She has a knife in her shoulder, looks dead, and the body's dragged away.
Yes.
Then they run to Dewey. Ghostface shows up and attacks Dewey. Tyson joins them. They all fight. Dewey's arm gets sliced. Tyson gets stabbed in the gut. Jennifer hides in the closet and accidentally triggers a rotating door into the secret passage.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson literally gets the rug pulled under him, which flips him onto the ground. Ghostface picks him up and throws him out the window.
And I gotta say, have you ever tried pulling a rug on somebody?
No.
I mean, Tyson's probably around 200 pounds there. Like that's,
right.
It's tough. Like I only have done it just to mess with my dogs, and they're like the biggest one's about 60 pounds. And it's tough to do that to where you make somebody fall over. But anyways.
Yeah. They joke that in most of the movies that putting on the Ghostface costume gives one superpowers.
Okay.
Or like extra strength.
Sure.
They're able to do stuff that would take a little bit of extra strength to do.
Sure. And it's also, they're playing with the whole genre and kind of spoofing stuff and satirizing it, I guess.
Right. So right after that, Ghostface is in the passage with Jennifer, who runs down the hall and ends up on the other side of the mirrors in the room where Angelina disappeared earlier. From this side of the mirrors, you could see what this was intended for because it's a two-way mirror and you could watch somebody having sex on that bed right there, which is creepy.
Yeah.
She tries to bang for Dewey, but the soundproofing must be really good because from his side, he can barely hear anything. And he tells Gale that he notices the mirror is shaking, which Wes Craven pointed. He thought it'd be hard to sell it, but when he was trying to give directions from the other side of the mirror, no one could hear him. Which is like hilarious.
Okay.
As Ghostface attacks Jennifer, she tells him that he can't kill her because she's the killer in Stab 3. Dewey starts firing at the mirror high up so he can't hurt anybody on the other side. And when he gets to the last mirror, Jennifer falls out, already dead. But Ghostface seems to have vanished. Either that didn't happen in real time when she was getting stabbed, but she was banging on the mirror, so we know they were in the room at the same time. I don't know how Ghostface disappeared.
Yeah. And also, did Dewey shoot Jennifer?
No.
He did not? Because she dies really fast from that stabbing.
They say it's funny because Wes Craven and the producer that were in the commentary, there were 3 people in the commentary, but they talked about how a lot of people think that Dewey shot her, but they say Dewey's clearly shooting up. Dewey did not shoot her. He shot high and broke the glass, and she fell out already dead.
It's just funny sometimes where like the characters like get stabbed, like Steven's character, right? He gets stabbed in the back, and then he gets kicked into the wall with the knife in there.
Yeah.
Just like, ow. And then he's able to walk, but obviously he's a big burly dude, so he's able to handle it, I guess, and walk and die later, right? Yeah, I know. But yeah, poor Jennifer Parker Posey's character just like stabbed like twice and then like is dead like within seconds, which is like, okay,
right.
It's she was a great character and she dies like that, like not even having a last comical last few words of satire from this film. But yeah.
Gale and Dewey split up to look for Tyson. Ghostface grabs Gale, who fights back, sending them down in the basement. Ghostface goes unconscious when he hits the floor and gets against a guillotine, which decapitates a dummy. Dewey sees that Tyson is dead and goes back for Gale. Gale calls Dewey on the phone, is whispering so she doesn't wake up Ghostface. But now that they know that the voice changer exists, he doesn't believe it's her. That is until she screams. He runs in, not realizing that he used all his bullets on the mirrors and did not reload. Ghostface wakes up, throws a knife at him, and it hits him with the butt of the knife on the forehead, and he falls down the stairs.
Totally unintentionally, right? Like he didn't like intend to knock Dewey out. He intended to kill him, right? Right. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Wes Craven said it's crazy how in movies people always throw the knives and land right in. So wouldn't it be funny if the knife hit on the wrong side?
But yeah, after all of that, Jennifer coming through the mirrors, they then decide to call for help at that moment and not as soon as the chaos started happening.
Did they call the police or who do they call?
They call the police, I thought, right there.
Okay, I don't remember it.
Like they don't call immediately after finding a Roman's body before they're like playing Scooby-Doo, I guess. And then they go, let's call for help now. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's the common cliche, usually that there's power outages or something like that, but with cell phones. Yeah.
Right. We cut to Sidney left alone in Kincaid's office, but in a police station. There's a lot of police who are having like a pizza party, by the way. They're all getting pizza, although someone of higher authority says, hey, this is not a party. It's just pizza, which I thought was a great line.
It's nice because you don't know who's saying what. You just see everybody kind of getting pizza there. So you don't know who's doing the talking.
Yeah.
Because this is going to come up in soon. I'm going to bring it back up again.
Okay. She reads her file, which Kincaid has on her, and starts to get suspicious that maybe Kincaid is obsessed with her, not just a cop investigating the murders.
Mm-hmm.
Then she gets a call from the killer demanding that she come to him or he will kill Dewey and Gale. We see while she's on this phone call that she notices a bulletproof vest, and then she finds a Beretta 950 Jetfire amongst the files, which is a tiny, super cute gun, 4.5 inches in length. It's just super cute.
I love how you describe a gun as cute.
It's deadly.
A deadly weapon. It's so cute, though.
Well, there's going to be a cuter one.
I know. And so, yeah, in this little conversation, she's told to kind of go into another quieter place. not draw attention. How would the killer, Ghostface or whatever you want to call it, know that she could draw attention?
Right.
Unless there's somebody in that police office that was making that phone call, right?
Right.
Unless he also has like some like spy camera in Kincaid's office, like
there's no way.
Exactly. So that's why I totally thought it had to be one of the cops, Wallace or Kincaid. They make it seem like it's Kincaid, but it's actually Wallace, and Wallace is just, I don't know, a jealous asshole or something. But yeah, also, unless it's a missing dialogue that was cut, they never say, I'm at Milton's house, come here. So she just happens to know where to go as well. Because in that scene, like I was saying, like you don't know who's talking in the dialogue with the cops in the pizza party.
Right.
There was a party. Anytime there's pizza, it's a pizza party.
I agree with you.
I know the cop doesn't in this film, but
the one in charge,
But there's like one that's kind of like in the mid ground that has his back mostly to her. And I thought, totally, it's that cop. It has to be that cop that's making this phone call. Anyways, I just wanted to say, like, this part is another part. I think it's a big plot hole, but yeah.
Right. So she gets to the house. We don't see how, but she gets to the house. It was a cab.
She's a time traveler. We've already discussed this now.
Oh my gosh.
Teleporting. No, I'm kidding. She gets there. I assume a cab.
Right. She sees Tyson's dead body. Ghostface has left a metal detector there. Where he got it, I don't know.
And she gets that phone call.
Right. He tells her to scan her body. He goes off near her necklace, which would hide a bulletproof vest if it was using a steel plate instead of Kevlar or ceramic, when there's different thicknesses on bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
But he tells her to go over her legs. She pulls out the gun that we found, the Beretta earlier.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not going inside the house. And he tells her, you could just look in and see that Dewey and Gale are there. And she does. Dewey and Gale are tied to a chair. So she runs in. Ghostface then comes behind her. She pulls out another gun, a Smith & Wesson Model 40, which holds 5 rounds. She fires all 5 rounds into his chest. As she tries to free Dewey, he notices that Ghostface is gone. She picks up the gun again. When Kincaid arrives, they hold the gun at each other, and Kincaid volunteers to lower his gun first. Right as she puts her gun down, Ghostface shows up, and Kincaid saves Sidney, taking a knife to his shoulder. After Ghostface knocks down Kincaid, Sid fires one more shot, which that gun doesn't hold.
Okay.
And then it runs out of bullets.
Yeah, so again, like Kincaid just shows up out of nowhere here.
Yeah.
How did he know this is where the party is? He's not part of the cast or anything. Like, it's just like, how does he just happen to know?
Well, you said they called for help.
They did, but why would it just be Kincaid?
Because it's his case.
Why would he not have backup? Like, seriously, like, why would they?
I know.
Like,
you're right.
I don't know. Like, if, hey, there's a murderer here at this house who's killed like 3, 4, how many people at this point have died? Like,
oh, yeah.
And the house was blown up. Like, you'd think they would be SWAT, not just Kincaid, which makes you think that it's fucking Kincaid. Like,
okay,
he's here by himself, especially in a Hollywood, in fucking LA. Like, this is no joke. So, yeah. Anyways, I know it's a movie. Calm down.
Yeah. No, you're good. No, I mean, this is what we do. We pick apart movies, right?
I know.
Ghostface disappears. Sidney runs, finds her way into a secret door behind a bookshelf, which behind the scenes, Courtney Cox bought afterwards and had someone install it in her house. Because she thought it'd be cool to have a bookcase secret room.
All right. I like that.
So inside, Sid is tormented by videos of her mother's activities, and Ghostface reveals that he is wearing a bulletproof vest. He also reveals himself to be Roman, telling her that he is her half-brother, and when he went to search out for their mother, he found that she had already made a life for herself, and she rejected him. What's interesting to me is when he pulls out the mask, they had never met before in this movie, and Sidney has this face of like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
So he shows her this footage of Maureen sleeping with Billy's father, and he showed that same footage to Billy to convince Billy to get Stu and him to kill Maureen.
Yeah.
We see that
who's the other man? Because there was 2 men.
Oh, Cotton.
Cotton, that's right.
Yeah. We see that Mark is still alive, gives Dewey his Smith & Wesson 5906, which can hold 10 to 15 rounds. Sid says that they are face to face, and now the villain dies. Roman pulls out Milton from hiding. He's tied and gagged, saying that he is going to frame Sid for killing Milton since he destroyed her mother's innocence, and goes into detail of all the horrific sexual things that happened to her in that very room that he claims turned her into, in his words, a slut that she became. He pulls on Milton's gag, who tells him that he can make any movie, any budget, scripts already approved, final cut.
Hell yeah.
He tells Milton, I already have it, and cuts Milton's throat, throwing him to the ground, which he did throw the real actor Lance Hendrickson to the ground a little too hard, and he injured his hand.
Bastard. Yeah, it's about that.
Yeah.
Did he get paid more for doing that little stunt? Or like, because I mean, normally that would be a paid stunt performer to do that.
Well, they did have one, but they wanted to film him kind of getting thrown and then the stunt person going down harder. But I guess the guy that played Roman was just in the moment and threw him too hard.
Yeah.
Everybody said he felt really bad about it. And even though he plays like a crazy guy in this movie, he's really a real sweetheart.
Sure. Most of the guys that play villains are usually like really like the nicest people, you know?
Right.
It's the ones that come off as super pristine that are usually hiding dark secrets.
That's funny. As Gale and Dewey attempt to break in, they battle for a good amount of time. And while she puts up a good fight, Roman is beating the crap out of her and then starts to strangle her.
Yeah.
Dewey's able to short circuit the power, which makes Roman stop. Kid Kate is able to pick a lock and enters the room with an even cuter gun, an American Derringer Model 1, which holds 2 bullets to fire at the same time. This gun weighs 1 pound. Unfortunately, Ghostface knocks it out of his hands right away.
And he's knocked out. He's the softest head. Like, he gets knocked out at the fireplace, and he gets knocked out here again in the screening room. Like, he must have, like, the fontanelle is just not formed. I don't know what's going on with this dude's head, but yeah, he is like, I'm out. I'm knocked out again.
He's going to have a concussion.
Again, that's why I was like, he was the other killer. Like, because he's like, oh, he's conveniently out, like, at key points to let the killer get away or be one-on-one with the victim. So, anyways, just my theories.
Ghostface goes to relock the door, and when he turns around, Sidney has disappeared. Sidney comes at Ghostface with a knife. He's able to shoot Sidney in the chest, then shoots her again with the second bullet, which isn't how that gun works. It's supposed to fire both bullets at the same time.
Wes Craven, come on, dude. Know your guns, bro. Don't you have an armory person?
I don't know.
I just learned that was a role after the shooting with Rust, so yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Ghostface goes to relock the door, and when he turns around, Sidney's disappeared, and he's confused. Even though he just showed her that he has a vest on, he wouldn't think that someone else could think the same way. I don't know. She hides. Roman gets the idea to call her, but she calls him first, and when his phone rings, she jumps out, stabbing him in the back with an ice pick, like Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct.
Sure.
Because Roman is confused, Sidney reveals her bulletproof vest, which I filmed the film kind of cheat a little bit because bulletproof vests do not show the curvature that Sidney's had up until this point. I just thought that was kind of funny. Roman says that since her mothers did, or their mothers did, he still got to make his movie. And she says, stab 3 right, and stabs him in the heart.
Which I don't know. Can you stab through? A bulletproof vest, like.
Well, there's a big armor plating in a certain area, and it should protect the heart. You're right. And then that's the most expensive part of the vest. The other parts of the vest should protect from stuff like that, but it depends on how much money you spend on the vest, of what material each section is made out of.
Gotcha.
You could spend even more money to have your sides protected with more metal plates or ceramic plates, but it adds to the weight and your movability.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's what I want if I'm coming up against gunfire. Like, put it everywhere.
Protect me. Yeah. So, I don't know how she stabbed him, but she did.
Okay.
That's when Dewey and Gale busted the door. Gale is shocked that it's Roman. Probably says she checks his pulse.
Yeah.
Sid says that he wasn't superhuman, but then Roman jumps up and Dewey fires 11 rounds into his chest before he hears Sidney telling him to shoot him in the head. Dewey lands one in the center of his forehead, so he hits the ground dead.
I just like it because like he's played as like not a very astute, but I mean he is a trained law officer, right? From like the first film and everything. But it's like when he does those first shots, he's shooting both hands on the gun, stabilizing it, going. Then when she says that, he's like, oh, one-handed, kind of does the Hollywood cool shot where it's like one-handed. Yeah. It's not like shot at a side or any weird stuff, but yeah.
Right. And what's also funny is at this point, David Arquette had been called on the street so many times, Doofy, because of Scary Movie. So he had asked Wes Craven if he could perhaps be a little less goofy in this movie, but Wes Craven's like, no, that's not the character.
Yeah.
I think they let him be a little smarter in the following ones.
Okay.
But yeah.
I mean, he has this moment there. He gets to kill the,
Right.
So.
we cut to Sid's place where Dewey asks Gale for her signature. And when she opens the book, there's a ring inside and he proposes. They both say it'll never work, but he says, but let's try it anyway in case we're wrong. She tells him he's really brave and she puts on the ring and kisses him. That's where Sidney enters the gates with her dog and leaves the alarm off. When she gets into the house, leaves the door open. Kincaid is there with his arm in a sling. Dewey and Gale are ready to watch the movie. And they film that scene 3 different ways. One with him not in a sling and one with him not even there. David Arquette, when filming this scene,
just saying,
I got you.
Alludes to him maybe being the second killer. But anyways.
Sure. Yeah. I think there was a lot of different script versions where a lot of different people were.
Sure.
David Arquette takes one look at the camera during one of the shots and says that, hey, I'm filming this because I'm supposed to, but I really think a second killer should show up right now and kill all of us because it's the end of a trilogy. And I think that's how the trilogy would end.
But instead, it just kind of stops right there. It's such a weird ending. Like, because it's like, they don't even go and see what they're watching. Like, it's referenced, like, you got to come see it. You got to, and it's just like, nope, scene end, done, roll credits.
Right. And Red Right Hand plays again before another Creed song plays in the credits.
Ugh.
So I like to talk about Second Killer. There's a guy on YouTube named Zach Cherry who does this whole series on who killed who in every Scream movie.
Okay.
And he never really planned on making one in Scream 3 until a bunch of the comments, who were probably jokes, said, are you going to make one for Scream 3 of who killed who? And said, I think there actually is something there to it. So he breaks down all his theories where Angelina is the second killer.
Or it's Angela Lansbury. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
sorry.
My God.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
Murder She Wrote, dude. Murders always happened where she was. She had to be the serial killer, right?
Yeah, I heard that theory.
I know.
More people died than the population of the original town.
For sure.
And so she moved to a bigger city by like season 8. Because they went on for like 11 seasons.
Yeah, dude.
Okay,
anyways,
sorry.
Sorry.
There was a version of the script where Angelina was supposed to be the second killer. But I'll go over all the reasons he lists. In the Sarah kill, there's an extra footage in a deleted scene where someone is watching from across the street as she goes inside, which would be to tell Ghostface when to make the call in Roman's office.
Okay.
But we do see her look back like she heard someone in the alleyway. But that's as much of that scene we get.
That's the security guy coming in, right?
No. When she first parks her car, she looks back at the alleyway and hears somebody, but she doesn't see anybody.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that could have been as much as we get of a possible second killer there.
Gotcha.
When the killer finally calls Sidney's home, there's no way Roman all of a sudden had access to Sidney's number. You're right that Officer Kincaid definitely had access to the phone, but we'll see in the very next scene that she's at the wrap party. And so if Dewey had put his phone down anywhere, she would have had access to it because she's been hanging around that party. She, being Angelina, would have been able to get the phone number to Roman so that he can call Sidney at that point.
Okay. But also Kincaid had it now at this point too. So
right, you're right. Also, Angelina keeps going in and out of the house at weird times throughout this whole party. And if
she had a cocaine problem,
and the killer, she couldn't afford a cocaine problem yet.
She was a new actress. Yeah, true.
So if the killer was sending the faxes, she would have had time to turn on the gas when she got away from everybody. Also, as I pointed out, there's a scene when Tom runs inside. She lets go of someone's hand. She kind of sneaks away from the group without us really noticing too much. And in the very next scene, when the house explodes, she's not there. She's already taken off because she knew it was going to happen.
Sure. Or she's just incredibly lucky.
All right. In the bathroom scene, Angelina has the Ghostface boots. She actually has the Ghostface mask. And she's just telling Sidney that she was collecting souvenirs because she's never going to be in a movie again. But I think here, Sidney actually caught her getting ready to put on the Ghostface stuff to scare her like someone did in the first movie. She jumped out of a bathroom stall to scare Sidney.
But it's crazy because right outside, there's an active set, like studio going on. It's not like in the middle of the night where I could see that as being, I don't know, unless you're just like, I won't get caught. I'll do this here and just walk out. Because
sure.
Dewey was out there and already knew somebody else was in there. So
yeah, you're not wrong. Also, in the first movie, we do see a lot of shots that we see someone in a Ghostface outfit in broad daylight spying on someone's house from the trees, and then walking around the grocery store, and the grocery store's next door to the police station. But
Halloween or something? It's been a while. This is the first one,
but that's okay. But the way I explain that is we do see a bunch of kids, teenagers from the high school, who have thought it was funny to go around, now that they know what mask this is, to go around scaring people all the time.
Sure.
So could have just been other teenagers doing it, because it would have been stupid since the building is next door to the police station.
And that's how you end up getting shot.
Yeah.
You look suspicious.
Yeah, that happened on Halloween too. They hit a guy dressed just like Michael Myers, because that mask was sold in stores in the universe, and he gets hit by a police car and killed.
Yep.
All right, so we described how in the recreation of Woodsboro, as Sidney's running around, there's two places where it seems like there has to be a killer. But as you pointed out, that killer could have easily have been Kincaid just as much of Angelina or Wallace.
Wallace, yeah. I mean, right. He's his partner, so he would have had access to that phone potentially as well. But yeah. So then when she's killed, when Angelina is killed, we don't really see the knife go in. It's kind of upwards instead of straight towards her chest. And then when they see the body, she's just stabbed in the shoulder, which is not a killing blow, and she's pulled away. And then, as we know, I mean, that's what they were planning on doing in the first one, like stabbing each other. So there's like superficial wounds.
With all of that, there's evidence that there's probably a second killer. We can disagree on which one it is, but there might be a world where that second killer just got away with it and the audience didn't even notice.
We don't know. There's not like a crime scene in the movie that goes through all the body counts or anything like that. I don't know if anyone talks about, so it's, they're not at Angelina's funeral or anything like that. So we don't know, but they also don't bring it up. Like, what happened to Angelina?
Which I do love this in a out of universe thing.
Okay.
The DVD box set for the trilogy had a memoriam of all the victims throughout the movie, and Angelina is left off of it.
Sure.
So it's just interesting. I think that's fun.
Yeah. So I think, honestly, it was just a case of the script being spoiled. So they had to do extra stuff. And then you get all of these scenes shot for a film that needs to be out at a certain time. You have the editors just editing the best takes in their opinion, because who knows if the editors were up on the exact script, the final script, right? So they're just editing the best stuff put together that kind of seems cohesive enough until you look at it under scrutiny, like we're doing, people done in the past. Then you start going, wait, what? And that's fine. That's just kind of how it's made, especially when it's like a sequel to a movie. It's like, hey, we got to put this out so we can maybe do a fourth one and keep making this gravy train go, instead of it just being someone's first movie that's their passion project. It has to be perfect, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. But I think once the final product comes out, it's up to interpretation at that point what really happened.
Sure. Yeah. I think that, I don't know, in this it just kind of shows a little like what happens, and it's just stuff can get, especially when you have the spoilers, like that's just something that most movies don't have to deal with, but unless it's like some crazy super popular sequel trilogy or whatever, prequels, you know. Right. So yeah anyways, okay. That's interesting. So you think that then it was Angelina that was supposed to be?
I mean, I like the theory. I totally see where you're saying that it could be Kincaid
or Wallace too, I think.
Yeah.
This definitely doesn't give you, it's left ambiguous, and I'm totally fine with that. It's just like, okay, what is her motive to help Roman? Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if they got away with it in the future, she would have more movie roles. But if you're breaking that down, why would she destroy the only movie role she actually had? And she already slept with someone to get that role.
And she slept with Milton, not Roman.
Right, exactly.
Because like Roman clearly doesn't have the power. He's like a newbie. He hasn't even had a first film, so it's not like he has a lot of power. Because the other thing would be like, Milton, does he have anything to gain? But it's clearly not the way they play it out.
Right.
So.
Oh, also, she knew where the secret passages were, but she might have accidentally found them or not. But she might have, when they found her, she might have played it off. Like, look, I found a secret passage.
Well, she said she slept with Milton, right? So who knows if Milton, she's already been to that house potentially, because she said she slept with Milton.
Sure.
You know? Okay. So she could have been, hey, we're going to go down here in this is where I used to do this. So, hey, for old time's sake, I'll just go back to my screening room to screen you type of shit. So, yeah.
Okay,
just a different,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So, that explains why she would be able to know things about that house.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense. All right. I know there's a lot of questions here. Does Roman's motive hold up for you?
Not to me. It'd be very, very impressive for somebody to maintain a career or to start out a career, I guess. We don't get much of his background. He's suddenly directing. Is he fresh out of film school, or had he done second camera work? I don't know. We don't know that. But yeah, being a director and working in the film industry in general, you're having to deal with a lot of people, actors, the behind the scenes people, the studio execs. So it just seems like it'd be a lot to pine about your mom that you never knew. Like,
yeah.
Have you ever known anybody who was like adopted that looked for like a parent?
I mean, I knew people that was adopted, one of my childhood friends, and it did bother him a lot. He would talk about it from time
Not to go murder people,
but
right?
not that much.
Yeah. Like normal person. Obviously,
exactly.
A Roman is some screws loose up there.
Right.
To go to this extent, I get the revenge part, but to then want to kill your sister, even though
if
I think it was
anything,
pretty clear, like Sidney's life was not like the most fantastic, great. She didn't have this wonderful, loving mom. So it's just, why not just film, and then just in your little town in Woodsboro, your mom is this horrible person philandering.
Right. And he had already gotten away with his involvement in the first one because Billy and Stu were dead.
Exactly. So why you
maybe
wreaked havoc on this poor woman's life and got revenge on somebody?
Instead, he could have tried again and been like, hey, I just found out that I'm your half brother. I know this is awkward, but I can show you how I found this out. I know it's something about your mother you might not know. I don't know how much this could work, but I'd like to try to maybe connect with you. Maybe there's something there. At least we can be brother and sister. We've lost so many years. I'd love to meet you. Sure. That's a way you could have gone about it sanely.
Sure. But I mean, we're dealing with somebody who's insane.
Right.
Yeah. Again, it's a movie. I don't think they're psychoanalyzing serial killers to make this movie, but yeah, it's a bit much in my opinion.
Right. There was a lot of cool side characters. I mean, we had Carrie Fisher. We had Steven, who plays the Tick.
Yeah. I mean, but for me, Parker Posey stole the show here. Like, as often, like we've talked about other movies where the comedic relief often just has the best lines. Like, what was his name? He's a good character in Flatliners.
Oliver Pratt.
Yeah, Oliver Pratt. Like, his lines are the best. So yeah, often I think, I don't know, I can't remember how many of his lines were ad-libbed or actually put in there, but it's just like, you look at Bill Murray's, he steals the show in Ghostbusters because most of that was ad-libbed as well. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, she also has the most, so it's kind of set up. She has the most lines, most scenes outside of Gale and Dewey.
Yeah, so sure. But I did want to mention that the Weinstein brothers had access to this script, and Bob Weinstein at any point could have been like, nope, I don't like it. Let's take off this whole sleeping with actresses for them to get roles thing. And I've heard theories that he didn't say he had a problem with it, because then that might have shed a light on, well, why do you have a problem with it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like following all this like salacious shit. We know Harvey did everything. Did Bob do stuff too?
I don't think so. I think Bob, no, I've never heard. I mean, I don't know if he knew that his brother was doing stuff, but I've never heard someone say that both of them were bad.
Yeah, I've never heard that either. And so, yeah, I don't know if like Bob was the one to make that decision. If he didn't know or suspect his brother was doing what he was doing, then why? But if it was like given, like if it was the Shrek lookalike Harvey to make that decision, yeah, it definitely seems, I guess you thought you could hide in plain sight, I guess. But yeah. But I mean, you get to a point where you do something, not to get too true crimey, but like I think that's what serial killers end up just not getting caught. And so they think that they are invincible and they keep doing the same thing and they actually get sloppier and sloppier. Thank goodness too, right?
Right, yeah,
yeah,
so they can get caught.
Yeah, but yeah, like it's, I don't know, and sometimes you just think that you're above the law too, as well, because I mean, but yeah, all the money and stuff.
Yeah,
don't abuse people. Just don't abuse people, and you're good. Golden rule type shit only works though unless you're a masochist. Then the golden rule kind of goes out, I guess. Sorry, I don't think about
I've
that
heard
too
the
much.
platinum rule is what our hospital says.
Oh, what's
Treat
that?
people as they want to be treated.
Oh, fuck, that's an option?
Apparently. You just sometimes got to ask. Like, hey, would you like me to call you this? No? Okay, I won't then.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Yeah. Any other questions you want to go over? Or?
No, thank you for talking about this movie.
Okay.
Thank you all the listeners for listening. We're in the middle of our Scream event. We're going to have in the month of October. Margot did Scream. Steven did Scream 2. Joseph, you did Scream 3 with me. Jesse's doing Scream 4. Margot will be back for Scream 2022. And Steven will be here to finish it off in Scream 6, which came out 2023, which should come out on Halloween.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. So tune in twice a week for now to listen to those. Thank you for being here, Justin.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
All right, bye.
See ya.
So, as Dale and Dewey, I can't. That's a great.
You gotta go back. You gotta redo that.
Yeah, it's a great couple.
Gooey.
Gooey. Oh,